Alright, so for today's lecture, we're looking at the 4-5 worksheet. Make sure you guys attempt the worksheet before watching this video because I'm going to be going over all the solutions for the video. Alright, so number one, let's solve. All these we're going to be solving for x. So I have 4 raised to the 3x is equal to 64. What does x have to equal? Well, I take 4 to the 3x is equal to, now how do I write 64 as a power, or with 4 to a power? Well, if I cube 64, or if I cube 4, I get 64. My bases are the same. That means my exponents must also be equal, so I can write 3x equals 3. Divide by 3, so 3 over 3 gives me 1. Our second one, let's go ahead and solve for x. So I'm going to rewrite the root 2 raised to the x as 2 raised to the 1/2 x. And this 1/8, I'm going to rewrite it as 2 raised to the, because remember 2 cubed is 8, but it's on the bottom, so I have to move it to the top, so it's going to be negative 3. So then my bases are the same. That means my exponents must also be equal. So I get 1/2 x is equal to negative 3. I multiply both sides by 2. What I do to one side, I do to the other. I get x is equal to negative 6. Number 3. Now this one, I can't write 15 as 3 to a certain power, so I have to use a different method. And for this method, what we're actually going to do is take the log of both sides. Just like that. Now I'm going to take this, I'm going to plug it. So 2x times log of 3 is equal to log of 15. I'm going to divide by log of 3. I get 2x is equal to log of 15 over log of 3. Now this, when you enter into your calculator, you'll get, let's see, that gives you 2.465, and then you divide both sides by 2, and that's going to give you 1.233. Now you might get a slightly different number due to rounding, but if you're in that ballpark, then you should be good. Alright, let's look at number 4. Number 4 is pretty similar to the one that we just did. I'm going to take the log, let me do it more in the middle, log of 2.5 raised to the negative x plus 1 equals a log the other side as well. I get log of 4.7. I plug it, so I'm going to use parentheses here just to stay organized, times log of 2.5 equals log of 4.7. I divide by log of 2.5, divide by log of 2.5, and that gives me negative x plus 1 is equal to, when I entered that into my calculator, that is going to give me 1.689. And now it's just a basic algebraic equation. So I subtract 1, I'll come up here to finish. So we get negative x is equal to, that gives me 0.689, multiply both sides by a negative 1. X is equal to negative 0.689. And that is your answer. Yeah, okay. Next question, number 5. This one is the same thing. We're going to log both sides. Log of 1.7 raised to the 4x minus 1 equals log of 11. I plug it. Use parentheses to stay organized. Log of 1.7 equals log of 11. I divide by log of 1.7, do it to both sides. I get 4x minus 1 is equal to, when I enter that into my calculator, that is going to give me 4.52. Now I add 1 to both sides. I get 4x is equal to 5.52. And then I divide both sides by 4. And I get x is equal to 1.38. Now our next question, number 6. I already have a logarithm here. And remember just going back really quick, this method of where you take the log of both sides, that's only in the case when you can't write as something raised to a power to get this, where you can get the same bases. Use that double B. But number 6, when we're looking at number 6, I'm going to recycle. When I recycle, that gives me root 3 raised to the x is equal to 1 over 81. I'm going to rewrite this as 3 to the 1/2 x, because remember, root x is equal to the same thing as x raised to the 1/2. Now, 1 over 81, that can be rewritten as 3 to the negative 4, because 3 to the 4th equals 81. That negative exponent brings it to the top. Now, I have the same base, so I can do 1/2 x is equal to negative 4. Multiply both sides by 2, I get x is equal to negative 8. Number 7, I recycle. Root 7 to the x is equal to 1 over 49. 7 to the 1/2 x is equal to 7 to the negative 2. 7 squared is 49. That negative brings it to the top. Bases are the same, so I get 1/2 x is equal to negative 2. Multiply both sides by 2, and you get x is equal to negative 4. Alright, so this one here, number 8, we're going to, since I have the same base here, what I can do is rewrite this as a single logarithm. So log base 4 of 360 divided by 45 equals x. So I rewrite it as a single logarithm. 360 divided by 45, that gives me 8. Now I recycle. Get 4 to the x is equal to 8. Now for this one, notice how you might try and write 4 to what power equals 8. Obviously that doesn't work, but what if I were to change both sides? Let's write this as 2 squared is 4. Can't forget about the x. And I can also write 2 cubed is 8. So this one, I change both of the numbers to get 2 raised to the power, 2 raised to the power. That gives me the same base here. Exponents therefore must be equal. So 2x is equal to 3. Divide both sides by 2, and you get 3/2 or 1.5. Both are obviously the same. Number 9, we're adding, so I'm going to combine this as a single logarithm, and I'm going to multiply. So I get 864 times 1 over 32 equals x. So log of 9864 times 1 over 32, you just do 864 divided by 32. That's going to give you 27 equals x. Now I recycle. So I get 9 to the power of x is equal to 27. Now again, I'm going to have to change both sides. So I can do this as 3. 3 squared is 9, so I get 3 to the 2x is equal to 3 cubed, because 3 cubed is 27. Same base, therefore my exponents must also be equal. And I get x is 3/2. And that's my answer for number 9. Number 10. Number 10, I recycle. 9 to the negative 2 is equal to x. Well, negative exponent means I flip it, so I get 1 over 9 squared equals x. So x is equal to 1 over 81. Number 11, the way we're going to work this one is, let's just go ahead and recycle. I could plug it and solve, but let's just try recycling first, see what happens. So when I recycle, I get 4 to the negative 1 is equal to x squared. So x squared is equal to 1 over 4. Now I'm going to square root and negative 4 because negative exponent flips it to the bottom. Take the square root of both sides. The square root of x squared is x. The square root of 1/4 is, take the square root of the top over the square root of the bottom, which is 1 over 2. And when we're taking the square root, remember we have plus or minus, and this one is okay to have plus or minus, so this would be your answer. Because when I plug negative 1/2 into that x, it's going to square it, make it positive. So I'm not taking the log of a negative number, so the negative case does work in this scenario. Number 12. So looking at number 12, I'm adding these logs so I can combine it as a single logarithm and multiply. So I get x times x plus 9 equals 1. So log of x squared plus 9x equals 1. And then from here, I'm going to, the base is 10. So let's go ahead and recycle. So we get 10 to the power of 1 is equal to x squared plus 9x. I'm going to set this equal to 0 so I can factor using a's and b's. So I subtract 10 from both sides. So I get x squared plus 9x minus 10. Come up here to finish. So x squared plus 9x minus 10 equals 0. Factoring using a's and b's, that is going to give me x plus 10, x minus 1, because 10 times negative 1 is equal to negative 10. 10 plus negative 1 is positive 9, which means x is equal to negative 10, and x is equal to positive 1, which this case does not work because you'd be taking the log of a negative number, so you can't do that. So this is your answer. X is equal to positive 1, and this one is extraneous. It doesn't work. So that's how you do all the questions on this worksheet. Again, if you guys have questions, let me know. See ya.